I'm Bryce Raddick. I'm the retention lead at Caraway Home. We're a kitchenware company, non-toxic, non-stick. Really great place to be. Previously was at Care of, the vitamin company, so have been leading retention both of those places for a while and excited to be here.
And I'm Jordan for Goat Foods retention lead. I'm sure you've heard of a few of our brands: licorice.com, pretzels.com, caramels.com, chocolate.com, taffy.com.
If you want a domain, they already own it. So.
And more on the way. We're located in Delray Beach, Florida.
Hold on. All right, there we go. Cool. So let's jump right into it. So tell us, what's been the focus this year for you and your team? And of course, what's top of mind this quarter?
Yeah, sure. I can jump in. I joined about a year and a half ago, did a ton of infrastructure work to get things really in the place where I wanted it in terms of a CRM perspective. So a lot of great progress there. Had a great year last year, grew year over year, and are continuing to grow year over year now. Across email, SMS, we run an SMS sales channel as well, and any of the small divots within all of those. Just really focusing on personalization across channels, making sure that we have really robust flows that are reacting to customer behaviors. So that's what I do all day long, is identifying where opportunities are and implementing different strategies and doing a load of testing.
Could you dive deeper into that personalization you mentioned and maybe some specific strategies for the room?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think a big emphasis right now is just on really identifying where customers are coming into our ecosystem. Really big focus on list growth right now. But obviously, our list growth comes from a variety of sources: organic, paid. And I think each one of those can have a really bespoke journey. So across email and SMS, just making sure that we're talking to each point of entry. The way that a customer relates to our brand in general, based on if they saw an influencer talking about it, is very different than if we send them a very polished direct mail piece. So really just identifying all of those touch points. And then we've also been lucky enough to expand our line. We started with a core cookware set of 4 pieces and have expanded into a la carte offerings: bakeware, food storage, tea kettle, prepware. So it's been a gradual rollout over the last few years since the business was founded, of opening up all those different avenues. And I think of it in terms of like a 3-dimensional view of like, you have the channel that someone entered in from, but then you also have which product they entered in from and which products they interact with on the site. So there's a lot of considerations, but it just gives you more and more, I think in particular, ways to personalize an experience that would otherwise be pretty, we're not a company that necessarily requires an onboarding quiz and we're collecting all this first party data, but we do have pretty robust understanding of where people come in and what they're interested in and what the time horizon to purchase is. So just using all those factors and really trying to implement really personalized journeys where we can convert and hopefully reconvert a few times. Yeah.
Nice. Jordan?
So start of this year, it's been successful. We launched taffy.com in April, so that's the newest one to the portfolio. And a lot of what I've been focusing on the last few months is going after people who have been on the list for a while, more engaged than unengaged, and have never purchased. I think that's a big segment. If they've been on the list since December 2023 and before, why not try to give them a free shipping threshold, GWP 10, 15, 20%, just testing. We don't have evergreen discounts necessarily, so a lot of it is going after the people who are opening emails 5 times in the last month or 10 times in the last 60 days, and we know they're interested, and what can we do to kind of push you across the edge. And also, obviously, with 5 brands going on 8 and however many our founders about to buy, how do we get them to know about the other brands and cross-selling through flows post-purchase? And I see the post-pilot guys are here, so we're doing a lot of on the 5x7, 6x9 real estate, we can fit in all of our brands on there for some win-back campaigns. So just letting them know that Goat Foods, which I didn't come up with the name, I don't love it, but it means greatest of all time if you don't know. So it's not totally marketable, but how do we get that across to make sure that people know like 5 brands, 6 brands, 7 brands, which isn't the easiest thing as a retention team of one person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a consistent theme, right? Which is you're upselling them, expanding that catalog, trying to get somebody to buy the pans once, come back for bakeware, the cutting board. You continue to launch new products. And I think at the root of that is having different segments or different sequences, rather, if we get tactical, for each of those different entry points, whether they came to taffy first or chocolate first, or if they bought the cutting board first or came through a search for the bakeware. So at the root of it, though, it sounds like you need to just understand your visitors super deeply, and you're building on top of that.
Yeah, I think so. And like I mentioned, it's hard with, previously at Care of, I had a 60-question onboarding quiz. I had so many points of reference for how to market. And you definitely have to get creative and really talk to customers and have a much deeper understanding. A big reason why we're doing SMS sales through Postscript is because those are just like first-party sales conversations that are super repeatable, and we get so much value before we even talk about revenue generated and anything incremental off of that sales channel. We just get so much feedback about buyer objections and everything that we're able to then take that, duplicate it across not just my channels, but kind of every channel that we have in-house.
So we're doing, like Bryce said, a lot of segmentation based on purchasing data, and our pop-up right now through Amped is flavor, and we kind of made the decision, like red licorice, black licorice, and across all the other brands, that we're going to switch that to, and this is like the conundrum we have in the office, it's generally 50% self-consumption and 50% gifting, and how do we get more data based on what people are coming to the sites to purchase? So the pop-up is going to say, I'm shopping for a gift, I'm shopping for somebody else, and then the first flow will kind of relay that information back to you, show us or show them the curated gift, show them curated sampler packs for self-consumption. So more of those kind of things.
Yep, that all makes sense. I think I want to jump ahead to the next topic, which is on Saturday, June 1st, right? The new restrictions from Gmail and Yahoo are going to be put into place, which is going to have a harder cap on the amount of spam complaints, the amount of unsubscribes that could impact your domain's health. So tying back into that, we have to understand our customer. We have to personalize, which I want to dig into on the last topic. But how does that whole strategy change, or how are you preparing or are prepared for this new implementation of sending requirements?
Yeah, I can kick off. I definitely think that it's changed a bit. We used to run launches and we used to say, okay, we're going to go full send. We're just going to send our whole list. It doesn't matter how long they've been on it. And it's definitely been a changing conversation within our office of, okay, like I have to like very strictly define who we're sending to, what we're sending for any given campaign, and really explain context about what's happening within the larger sphere of these channels to, my boss, my founder. So it's always a conversation. We've definitely rolled back on the volume that we're sending, and also have onboarded tools like Orita to really help us monitor our overall health and make sure that we are suppressing people smartly, not missing out on revenue dollars, but also not tanking our overall channel, which I definitely have done in the past, and it's not great. It doesn't feel awesome. So it's definitely like a new world. We're on Klaviyo. They're very serious about making sure that we're doing the right things as well. So I think like with all of those factors, but for me, like making sure that messages are relevant, knowing that it's not like a, if Facebook ads were free, you would just send them to everyone and life would be bliss. And I think that might be like certain founders' viewpoints on email, and it's definitely not that anymore. It is like a quote unquote free channel, but it has rules and regulations as it probably should, and those are definitely changing.
Yeah, I think it's a healthy thing to bring to the space.
Yeah, I mean, similar to Bryce, our founder, if he could send an email to every single person every single day, he would. So I made a segment just for him and Klaviyo. That's just the Jonathan segment, which is all active profiles.
Which is never used.
And what he doesn't know is that I exclude all the people that he just sees who it's going to, and then I exclude everybody else after that. But Klaviyo, they just came out with this beta feature that is excluding bot clicks. Like we just joined it a few days ago. The click rates in Klaviyo have honestly been a shit show because they went up to 14%, which just doesn't make any sense, and then 0.3%. So I sent them an email the other day saying, what's going on here? So hopefully their new feature is going to help. And then I know, Michael, you are kind of combat that as well with a new feature. You could talk about that later. I know no shilling, but it sounds like a good idea.
We could talk about that later. Cool. So effectively, right, it sounds like you're prioritizing the highest intent visitors. I think brands have, how do you prioritize the top 20% or the top 30, 40% that you should send emails to? I know you guys have two different approaches to this, so I want to hear it. Jordan, maybe you first this time.
Yeah, sure. So again, it's very engaged. Like, why would I send an email to somebody who's not opening? And that's where something like direct mail post-pilot comes in. Like, we're not going to send a postcard to somebody who's been opening email pretty frequently because it's double dipping and it costs my founder more money. We're going to send an email or a postcard to somebody who hasn't opened an email in a year, or if they're suppressed on Klaviyo. I think it's a really smart segment to send direct mail to if they purchase and then suppress and then win back campaign through post-pilot. I think that's pretty smart. And then we are launching paid memberships, like the Costco model, in a few weeks. So we're excited about that. $12 a year, billed annually, $12. We say it's $1 a month, so it's nice marketing copy. And then you get free shipping, you get free expedited shipping during holiday time, and it's a way, and you get access to all of our brands, like from those perks.
Jordan, stick around. Drew's got a panel at 11, so I'm sure you're going to have things to add then.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely do similar things, like definitely have the direct mail pipeline. We use Poplar for that. But I think for me, I always tell, my boss, my founder, like if someone is dormant, it's because we don't have something that they need right now at this second. And that's okay. I mean, I think a lot of brands are looking at time from first time on site to when that purchase moment is. For me, it's definitely like I want to be actually like leading that conversation a bit more in the sense that, if someone's not buying bakeware, it's because they have bakeware and they don't need new. And I actually, from like an environmentalist perspective, would not like them to like throw out their slightly used pans for something that's like new and shiny. I want them to buy when they need it. I think what's really synergistic about the way that I approach our email strategy and the way that we're approaching the brand as a business is that luckily I have had this rolling calendar of new launches where we're really cementing ourselves in more areas of the kitchen. And that's been really great because every 3 or 4 months, I have a talking point that I can re-engage customers. And I know that, this customer might have visited the site 5 times over the last year. And that's much more telling than like when they first visited. Like, that's fine. Like, I can make some sort of assumptions off of that. But just that repetition is what I'm looking at for engagement. And like really when I have a product that I think can actually serve them, then I'm going to serve it to them and take them off of suppression and hopefully market effectively to them.
Just to add on that, so do you care more about how low they got on the funnel, or even if it's just top of funnel, came to the homepage on Caraway 5 times, that's more important to you, like the amount of clicks rather than the depthness of the click?
Depth helps, but yeah. I mean, in general, I think like the recursive visiting is a huge indicator of what someone will do. That's what we found within kind of our conversion data overall.
Okay. We don't have too much time, so I'm sure there's questions for you guys from fellow retention marketers in the room. I have some, but is there anybody who has a question for these guys?
Yeah, I wanted to hear your thoughts. I wanted to hear your thoughts on loyalty programs as a retention tool, specifically with getting somebody to convert for the second time or the third time.
Yeah, and that's like my whole job is getting second and third conversions. I mean, I think we have like probably like every brand in here has like the, if they've purchased twice or 3 times or 4 times, then we got them for life. You know, we have that like intuition. We don't currently offer a loyalty program. That's actually what I was hired to do, and I failed spectacularly at it. That was like number 1 bullet, launch a loyalty program. And the more investigating that we did, looking at the purchase behavior, looking at our product roadmap, and looking at the kind of general excitement for the brand, just didn't feel super necessary in the term. We're also a very margin defensive brand. We don't want to give away margin where we don't need to. And that was a shakeup coming from a very VC heavy brand before this. When I entered, I was very surprised at the change. But what we've kind of utilized instead is like what I term in my head as like a soft loyalty program, where I do give away the margin dollars, but like I don't give them away on purchase one. Like I don't give them away super actively. I tell customers, hey, get on our SMS list. That's your best bet at getting something. And then send like very targeted discounts. And that tends to work. We've grown each channel and our business year over year. So like that's an indicator to me that we haven't given away unnecessary margin. It seems to be working for now. I am always surprised when like year 1 businesses have loyalty programs. We're about to hit 5 years, and it just hasn't, the customer excitement is still there. So we're just riding that wave until something changes.
Yeah, so our evergreen offer is spend $75, get $25 gift card towards your second purchase, and you can use that universally across all brands. So technically that's loyalty, but we're kind of beefing that up with the paid membership program. Like it's easy to just give out points here and there, and like you got to make sure like we locked ourselves in a conference room. Like, is this going to be profitable? How much are we going to make? And a lot of scenarios we weren't making money. So the first iteration of this launching, like there's only so much time you can look at numbers. You just got to go for it. So this is going to be our best shot at it. And if we want to rework it, we can grandfather those people in and go from there. But we're excited about the paid membership model.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Very insightful.
Are you giftable?
Yeah, what kind of product is it? I mean, first thing top of mind is like finding like adjacent brands to partner with. I want to do like some crazier big swings. Like I see people giving out a truck, or Liquid Death is giving out a fighter jet. Like I want to do something crazy like that. So first thing that goes to mind is like partnership with like brands, whether it's a giveaway, whether it's a co-branded product. Like if you have room to create new products, like I tell my founder I need more products to boost the retention revenue because it gives me an excuse to email them. So that's my answer.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I also do think like if it is, I don't know about music, but if it is giftable, like consider that as like a separate persona and like always carve that out, because you know the person who buys 3 times from us and keeps it all within their house is a very different person than who buys 3 times, 1 for themselves, 2 for friends and family. And it's hard for me to understand the difference between those people, like just looking at it, but as many conversations as I can have is good. And I think the marketing for that is totally different what I choose to employ between those two audiences.
Last question.
Thank you. Question more for Jordan, but I was curious if you could talk a bit more about the cross-sell synergies that you, the strategies that you use.
Yeah, sure. So again, I think the universal gift card that we give out after they spend $75 is key. Like it's a easy email flow. They're going to use it on the other brands. The paid membership, like I said, that is the GOAT club. So you have access to all the brands. That's going to help. And putting even like footer buttons, like the bottom of an email, like sending an email to the pretzels list, like, hey, check out Licorice, like those things like do add up. And we also have on the top of licorice.com right now where you can shop our other brands. And it's within licorice.com. It's not technically a marketplace. It's like owned on Licorice, but we created the best products from the other brands in that shoppable experience on licorice.com. We have a curated box, a gift box from the best tube of product from all brands. So I think those little things add up over time.
Thank you.
Great questions. Thank you for having us. And if you have any questions about their brands, their strategies, come up to them after the show. And if you have any questions about revenue roll and how we fit into those strategies, I'm right here.